Hey everybody. Just to save time on Tuesday, I thought I'd do the captain's report via podcast again, so you can watch it whenever you choose. I'll take Q&As at the meeting, but this will serve as the report. I just want to make a few reflections before I get into the meat of the report. This certainly was a much easier year for me, and I boil it down to two reasons. Number one, is, I guess, a personal reason. I kind of understood the power of delegation a lot better this year. We have a great membership, and people are always willing to step up, and I needed to leverage that a whole lot better than I did the first term. Secondly, just the experience of being captain one year and knowing how everything's supposed to unfold made it a much easier year also. And I think the second reason is you. You willingly participated in the committees, you shared the load, and I think there was an attitude change in terms of mistakes being accepted rather than attacked. Yesterday was a very good example of that, where when we posted the wrong game onto the scorecard, and certainly there was some confusion, but people went out and did the best they could. And at the end of the day, we decided to uh, score the game as it was, as everybody signed up to play it, and people just kind of shrugged and went, yeah, okay, that makes sense, let's move on. Like, there's not much you can do about it. And that's certainly very, very much appreciated. It has to be a place where you can make mistakes. You can't do this job perfectly all the time. um and I think last year I made a point to say that it was kind of a thankless job. People are telling me that, and it was not a thankless job this year. I got lots of support from people, and as I said, that's part of that's probably me, but most of that is certainly you. It's a bit of a different club now than it was when I became captain. When I became captain, things were pretty intense. Uh, the course was in very poor shape. I remember having a conversation with Dave about the possibility of an 18-hole course. That was a real possibility, and I was very blunt with him. I said, "You will kill the course if you don't find a way to solve that bridge problem and get the other four holes in play." And of course, Dave got fired at Christmas, and the membership was frustrated with the whole thing. And I thought there was a real fear of losing Riverside Men's Club. And so, quite frankly, I was the new captain, and I was scared, and I was in California, and I really didn't know what was going on. And that's when I started my first podcast. It was just the possibility of reaching out and communicating and trying to send positive messages, because I did not want to be known as the last captain or the one that killed the club. We sent out registrations immediately after that, and they were a little bit slow coming in at first, and then all of a sudden we got the slew of registrations from the folks at Mountainside. And I went, you know what? They have their own course that doesn't have any problems, but yet they're stepping up and they're saying, yeah, we're in. We'll play at Riverside too. And that was kind of the turning point for me. As soon as we were able to announce that people were signing up, more people began to sign up. And quite frankly, I'll never forget what the Mountainside people did for the club. And I'll always have a bit of a soft spot for them uh, because of that. I think we're less obsessed on the rules and the competition than when I first started. I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's bad. I think there needs to be a balance. I think we had people that were very focused on rules and competition and kind of killed the fun part of it a little bit. I think we're in a better place there. We've got more really good golfers than we had when I started, for sure, and they add a different tone to the club. Um, these people tend to focus on their own play. They don't worry about winning. That's not important to them. If they win and they play poorly, it doesn't make them any happier. If they play well and they lose, they're more okay with that. And so I know we're in a better place than when I started as captain. But I have to admit the bar was pretty low back then, given the fact that we didn't even know if we were going to have a club. Uh, Talk a little bit about the annual general meeting and the items that are to come out of that. We're going to have two elections at the meeting. Number one is on captain. Vice Captain Dave Chernoff has put his name forward for election, and the membership will decide whether they want to accept Dave's offer or not. I will be supporting that. We also have an election on the Rules and Handicap Committee chair. Jim Broom will be stepping down after about 15 years or so. We couldn't figure out how long it's been, but Jim's been there quite some time. The other executive has offered to stay, so we'll have great continuity next year. However, we do have to accept nominations from the floor if people want to run for these positions. And so we'll be calling nominations at the meeting. As the only one that isn't up for election is myself. You're stuck with me as past captain. I inherit that position. So you might be saying, okay, well, tell me a little bit about what the Rules and Handicap Chair does. Well, according to the Constitution, they're responsible for the accurate monitoring and posting of scores on the RCGA website. And so you'll get a note from Jim every once in a while saying, hey, you haven't entered scores for a while, and I know you've been playing. Can you get up to date, please? There's also some liaison work with Riverside and Golf Canada. We're seeing that unfold right now, and hopefully we'll get a good resolution out of that. And the second major responsibility is to be responsible for providing information and interpretation of the Golf Canada rules. So the person serves as the chairs of the rules committee on all tournaments, and does some other tourney work like helping to mark courses or do the course markings for the tournaments. And that person and his rules committee would also deal with any appeals that take place on tournaments. According to the Constitution, they're supposed to provide weekly handicap reports to the front desk committee, but in reality, that's handled through the website with Darcy. So that's not a part of the job that still exists. But one of the things that's really important is that this person sits on the executive. And so this person has just as much input into the way the club goes as anybody else in those executive meetings. So, their opinion is very much valued. And Jim has said he will stay on the committee and mentor the new person. So if you're interested, let me know. It's a great starter job if you want to just kind of figure out how the club works and you want to contribute. This might be a good place for you. Other proposed things that are happening at the meeting. We have a tournament exemption policy where the executive has the authority to provide an exemption in the case of an injury or an illness if a player does not play 5 events. We've utilized it twice over the last couple of years. In one case, the person wasn't able to play the tournament, so it really only happened once. But we want to know if the club membership still wants us to have that authority or not. Now that we've had it for 2 years, it's a good time to review it. We also want to have a discussion about whether we should be moving the club championship or the super senior event to September. Having them back to back may not be the best thing. We don't ultimately have that authority, but there's no use talking to the club about it, or the course about it, unless we actually have authority from the club that it's a good idea. I was gung-ho about it to begin with. I'm a little less gung-ho now because it looks like aeration is going to be done in September, and maybe we should leave it alone. And then there are the announcements and reports that we typically have at the meeting, designed to inform the membership of what's going on, the reason that we're doing the things that we're doing, what our financial situation is after the year, all of those types of things. And we'll be done at 10:30 so that everybody can get out there and practice up for the Friday Cup grudge match. Just some final thoughts. Thank you to everybody who signed up for the committees this year. The post game, the registration committees, fantastic. Um, the executive has been amazing to work with the last 2 years. Dave and Luke uh, doing the past captain and the vice captain work, uh, absolute workhorses. Darcy does an amazing amount of stuff behind the scene. Jim Broom's been a great contributor, and Jeff Blunden has stepped in for kind of the legend of Paul Nielsen very, very well. And we haven't lost a single beat since that's happened. The rest of the year, of course, is celebration season. I Let's enjoy Friday Cup. I'm wearing the gray and black in honor of the Beasts of the East, who happen to be the two-time defending champs. I mentioned that the other day, and Billy Bergman let me know that yes, that makes the series 10-2 in favor of the West. Because we're the two-time defending champs. So it has been a little bit lopsided over the years. There's appies for each group, compliments of the club. No entry fee because we can't really do KPs and deuces because of the alternate shot format. And I encourage you to sign up early because the event has to be done in multiples of four. So we've originally limited it to 36. And if we get four people on the waiting list, we'll go up to 40. But it has to be in multiples of four because of the format. And if you've played in it before, you understand that. Um, September 23rd is our special events award banquet, and those are separate sign-up sheets. So if you just want to play special events and not want to go to the awards banquet or vice versa, you can do that. There's cash prizes on every hole, but you can only win once. And the final day is the dice scramble and the horse race, and that'll be a 10:30 start because we don't want to finish in the dark. The horse race will start at 4. The dice scramble will start at 10:30. And again, they're separate sign-up sheets if you just want to do one or the other. The horse race is $10 a person, but you do get 2 free drink tickets with your $10 entry fee. So actually, you're ahead. You make $4 right off the bat. All of the money from the horse race goes into the pot, and it's a 60-40 split for first and second. And we have arranged it for a beverage cart to follow the race. It's a great time. So thank you for supporting me throughout the term. I can't say I've enjoyed every minute of it, but I really enjoyed a vast majority of it. And it's lots of good laughs and good fun, and I really have appreciated your support. So we'll see you on Tuesday at the meeting. And as I said, I'll do Q&A at that time if you have any. Take care. Have a great week.